So good morning everybody, well good afternoon actually, and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Vollmer, and have I got a rolling stock update for you today. This video promises to be quite a lengthy video, so if it is, then my apologies in advance, because there is a lot to talk about today, and we'll probably add a bit of a layout update as well because I've been very busy. Those of you following me on Facebook will know that I've been doing a lot of work electrically to the layout in terms of making lighting and making lampposts, in fact. So if you haven't seen that video, then that video is available to watch. That was my last video, and following on from that today, I received a parcel today, and it's a delivery from Amazon, and it's this little kiddie. So I might as well show it to you, because and this video will also feature some shout outs and thank yous as well. So what I wanted to do is just show you this. This has come from Amazon today, and this is what you call a regulated transformer, which is what I'm needing to power the lights. So for those of you who missed John Warner showing you how to or showing you how it looks like or how to use it, then basically this, I'll just quickly show it to you. So here you go, you've got a bag of accessories there, so you can join it all up, and then you've got the actual transformer itself. If I take out the transformer, you'll see that it is actually connected to this plug, and this plug I will basically convert by basically just leaving a little bit off the end, cutting that bit off, and then having the plug that I normally use, which is let me see if I can see it, I'll show you, which is the plug I showed you. So basically it's this plug here, if I can get it out, there you go. This is one of those quick release ones. So what I'll do is I'll cut the end off of that, fit this plug onto the end of the transformer, and the 2-prong end on the end of this, and then that way I can still use this to basically, if I need to use it, essentially. And as you can see from the dial, there's a little red dial there, and it tells you all the various voltages that you can use, from 3 to 12 volts. So, and this is what I use to power the lights. Now, the reason why I've bought this one, because I've actually got too many lights now. I wasn't expecting to have this many lights, but as it turns out, that's what I have, so that's how it is. So I've purchased this from Amazon, and I only got ordered this yesterday, so that's really cool that that's arrived so quickly. So I'm really pleased with that, and so that's what that is. So like I said, you can get them off of Amazon, and I'm using these to run the lights. So like I said, today is a lot of today is about the rolling stock update, but there are some other bits and pieces which have turned up in the meantime, and also like I said, I'll probably give you a bit of a layout update just to show you the lights that I've been working on as well. But what I wanted to do is, my first shout out will go to my good buddy Gary over at Cheeky Tech, and thank him for his advice. Really, he gave me some really important advice to do with my controller, and bear with me a minute, I'll see if I can bring it over here. Here it is. Right, so I'm currently using this Gauge Master controller, and this is a Prodigy Express. Now, I've had this now for a number of years because I actually bought this when I had Ringwood South, which is my previous layout to this. And recently I've been having problems with the knob here. It just doesn't work properly, to be honest. I don't think it. I think sometimes when you turn the dial, I've inadvertently turned the dial, and one of my locals has started moving. Basically what it is sometimes I turn the dial and it's non-responsive, and sometimes when it goes up in increments, it might shoot from, say, speed step 10 to speed step 15 or 16 without going through without going through 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I've been having problems with the dial, and also when it comes to like sometimes approaching the buffers where the loco just isn't responsive enough with the dial. And so Gary gave me some wonderful advice, because he's actually got the Prodigy Advance, which is a better one to this, which is like the creamy one, which a lot of you will have. And I didn't know this, and I've had this for like probably 2-3 years now. And he told me that, why don't you use the buttons on the controller? And I didn't know this, and I'm like, well, what are you talking about? And this blue button here, the enter and the delete, are the plus and the minus in increments of 1. And so you get better control of your locomotives approaching terminus stations and sidings and things. So for those of you who may not know this, as I didn't know, I will pass this on. So thank you to Gary for giving me that advice for my controller. And also, not only that, he kindly sent me over some more litter or rubbish to go onto the layout. So a massive thank you to Gary for doing that. I really appreciate that. So I need to get, when I get to the back end of the layout, I'll be throwing this everywhere, and yeah, getting this, making it look a little bit more messy than it actually is at the moment. So my next shout out goes to Alan over at Dragon Junction. And sometimes it sounds like a broken record because I talk about him all the time, but then again, we chat virtually all the time. He kindly suggested sending me over this, which is Hunt's couplings, the magnetic type. And he kindly sent me over two to try. Unfortunately, he sent me one, which is this one, which is the regular one. And he also sent me an ultra close coupling one. And unfortunately, when I opened it and I peeled it back, because it was sellotaped to the piece of card to make sure it didn't get damaged en route, which it hadn't. But as soon as I lifted the tape and took it out, the ultra close coupling snapped in two. And I don't mean snapped in two like that. I mean, it actually snapped away from the actual magnet, so I couldn't use it. And that was the one that I was really looking forward to trying. And it literally just snapped straight off. I didn't even do anything to it. So it kind of made me realise, and I've still got this one here, which I have never really used, to be honest, because I don't really believe in them. But I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Alan for giving me the opportunity to try it. But it hasn't really changed my view on Hunt's couplings at all, because if they're that brittle, then I don't really want to run the risk of just having to break the odd one or two, and then have all these spares or odds and ends that I can't use because they don't match. And to be honest with you, the cost of converting all of my fleet as well would be quite prohibitive. So, but thanks to him for kindly offering to send this to me and sending it to me to try. But unfortunately, these haven't really worked for me. I'm not really particularly impressed, if I'm being honest. So I know a lot of people will probably turn around and go, "What?" But for me, I'm not really that fussed. I'll keep what I have. So, but thank you once again to Alan for doing that. I want to have another thank you and shout out to another good friend of mine. This is in no means any particular order, but I just wanted to say thank you again to John Warner over at Piccadilly Sidings and Piccadilly Model Railway. And basically, he kindly did some bits and pieces for me. I was talking to him about, and I was talking to Alan as well about this, that wheels I want to get some relay boxes, and Will's Modern are like charging you like £4.50 for 2 relay boxes, and all it is 2 bits of plastic. And I just think, God, what a rip-off. So I didn't bother, and I knew that I was pretty certain that Model Scene did some, and I couldn't find it. Anyway, so I let it lie, and I explained this to both Alan and to John. And Alan said to me, "Oh, well, if you tell John, he'll probably just do it for you." and I was like, okay, I didn't, the thought never even crossed my mind. Anyway, so I later on had a conversation with John, and I explained to him that I'd gone to my local model shop, did various bits and all the rest of it, and I told him that. I said, look, I saw these things for like £4.50. Can you believe it? And he's like, and he automatically said, "Do you want me to do some for you?" And I'm like, I started laughing because I was like, that was exactly what Alan had said. And I'm like, no, I said to him, look, I'm not doing, I didn't mention it because, I'd like you to do me, but he said, no, we're friends. I was like, I'll do that for you. So he kindly did that for me, and he sent me some over. These are the single ones, which I haven't put to use yet. But these will be getting sprayed up very shortly. But I'm going to take you to the layout to show you one of the other ones he did. And they are dotted all over the layout because he kindly did me a load of them. And they're kindly dotted around the layout. But I won't show you all of them because that will give away some of what I've got to show you anyway. So let me just take you to the layout, and we'll show you. So here is one example of his relay box. And I have to say, he'd done an absolute superb job for me. And I'm so pleased with them because they look so authentic, and they're actually better than the ones that you can actually buy. And I'm so pleased. So this is just one of them, but there's many more dotted around the layout. Something else I have to thank John for is, I'm just going to spin you around. And John, oh look, there's a breakdown there. Oh, we got the coach having to go round. But behind that, there's a Leyland Lynx. Now let's just, I'm just going to reverse that for the moment, and we're going to put that on that lane, and I'm going to bring this Leyland Lynx forward as we play with it. There we go. Now, John sent me this Leyland Lynx, and I absolutely love it. It is absolutely brilliant, and he's so sweet. It's like quite a few streams ago, I didn't even remember. I'd actually forgotten about it. I was talking on the stream, and then I sort of digressed onto buses, with me being a bus driver, and I explained to John that no, actually I just explained to the stream. I was just saying in general in the stream that I used to, when I was younger, I used to catch the lynx. We used to have the 283 route that used to run from West Brompton to Shepherd's Bush, I believe, or East Acton. And funnily enough, that was my home route when I first passed my bus driving test, was the 283. And I actually drove that route. And when, unfortunately, sadly, and this is one of the things I said in the stream, I didn't actually get to drive one of these Leyland Lynxes. I always wanted to drive a Leyland Lynx. But I never had the chance or the opportunity to drive one. So I'm just going to remove this slightly because I'm going to show you the other one I have. And there's the other one. Now, this one here is a Leyland Lynx in London United colours. And this was the colour scheme that we had on the 283. And this registration plate was actually one of the buses used on the 283 that I used to catch from time to time, from where I used to live in London. And so, like I said, I always had fond memories of riding on the Leyland Lynx, which is why I wanted to drive one. Sadly, that didn't happen, but that's unfortunate. But John kindly sent me this Leyland Lynx in the London Country livery, and I absolutely adore it and love it. So that takes place on the layout here on the town scene. So thank you so much once again, John, for the relay boxes. And I guess this is the first part of the rolling stock update, because it is rolling stock at the end of the day. So I'm absolutely chuffed with that. So thank you so much to John for his bits and pieces. So next on the layout, we've got some rolling stock, some wagons. And I've been spending a lot of time with my wagons recently, upgrading them, weathering them, and doing all sorts with them. And here is the first batch. It's just coming into view right now. So this is running behind 66728, which if I briefly stop this one here, which again, the dial was actually unresponsive there. So this is a Batman 66, and it's one of my favourites actually, and it's already pre-weathered, and that was kind of the inspiration for the wagons behind it. And I've also added the nameplates, which I've been meaning to add for a long time. So I've done that. So let's just move that on, and I'll just show you what I've been doing to the wagons. So these are my IOA wagons and network rail wagons. And basically I've been experimenting with weathering, and some are more filthy than others. Alan kind of gave me the tip on using foam board for the wagon loads, which I have done. So I've had some excess ballast from the layout, so I've basically decided that I wanted to make some ballast loads, and so not only did I weather the wagons, but I also put loads in them, so they look really, really, really cool. So we're going to send them on their merry way, and they're all various degrees of dirt and grubbiness. So I'll just run it through slowly, and then you can sort of have a look, see as they go along, a bit like the generation game. I just feel that weathering them's made such a huge difference to the way they look and their appearance, and it makes them look so much more realistic. There's one coming into shot now, and that one's my grubbiest one out of all of them. That was actually a bit of a mistake, and then I tried to rectify and it come out like that, but I actually really like it like that. So I'm really pleased. So we'll send that one on its merry way now. So next on the agenda for rolling stock is my Freightliner 66, and that's not what's in question. That's a Batman example. What we're looking at here are the two wagons coming into view now. Basically, let's see. I've had a go at weathering these as well. I've also added wagon loads to these as well, and I've also added some graffiti to these as well. This one's quite more prominent. You can see this one definitely on this one as well. It's got quite a lot of graffiti on it. That one's got graffiti on it as well. And the two white ones, you see there is another white one. They're both new, so I've extended the rake by two wagons. So the two white ones are new. Well, looking at it, you wouldn't have thought so, but they are. So again, these HIO wagons I have now had some weathering done to them, some graffiti added to them, and wagon loads done to them. And now the rake has increased to 8 as opposed to 6. So I'm going to send this one on its merry way. And again, I'll just do it slowly so you can sort of see the levels of graffiti and dirt. Not all of them have got graffiti. So next on the agenda are these TEAs, and if I just stop that, that's it, so you can see one right in there. So these TEAs, this was Alan's fault. Alan over at Dragon Junction, my partner in crime, as it were. So I talk to him most days, and one day he said to me, "Oh, do you know that Hatton's got a sale on?" And I'm like, "Oh, here we go." So don't go tempting me with this Hatton sale. And he said to me about, "Oh, the Hatton 66s are on sale, and then there was some wagons on sale." And he was telling me about these tankers, and it was these ones that you can see in front of you. These ones are TEA Hornby tankers, and they've got plastic wheels, and the couplings are all moulded, so they're not NEM couplings. The best thing about it was the price. They were £27 a piece, which is absolutely brilliant because I've been after some TEA tankers for a long time. Long time. But they always go for such silly money. They're always really expensive, absolutely ludicrous money that they go for. And so when Alan told me about these tank wagons, I had a look on the Hatton's website, and sure enough, they were showing more than 10 in stock at the time. So I ordered 6 on the first batch, and I got the 6 home, and I still felt they weren't quite long enough. But anyway, I was talking to Graham over at Lakeside about these tank wagons, and he was quite interested. And when he went to have a look, he said to me that they only had 2 left. And so therefore I thought, oh, I could do with them. I wonder if those other 2 are still there. So I checked on the Hatton's website, and sure enough, the 2 wagons were still there. So I snapped up the 2 wagons. So I've now got a rake of these TEA wagons. They're all pretty much identical. So there isn't that much in the way of variation in them at all. And they've got graffiti and they're weathered. And some people don't like graffiti, and some people find it quite controversial. I'm of the view that it's just part of modern day life, whether you like it or not. And so, you know, I'm not condoning graffiti and vandalism, but I just accept that it's a part of everyday life. And so therefore, this is just how it is, really. And this is just part of it. And I bought these specifically to run with my Class 60s. One of them, you can see, it's just sitting in the background there, the coldest one. So let's see them go. So like there's 8 of these. So we'll just send it on its merry way. So next on my rolling stock update is just coming into view now. And here is my new arrival. Now, we have Peter Dixon to blame for this. He put up a video, the first video, the other day, and he was showing basically how to cure the wheel wobble that you get. So this is, let me just say what it is. It's basically a Hatton's Class 66 in the Coalesce Rail Freight livery. And She arrived this morning, and I'm not going to delve too deeply into this. And the reason why I'm not, because there's loads of reviews out there, but I'm going to give you a brief overview of my experience with it so far. So basically, because of his, because there was well-known issues with this 66, it's no big secret anymore. And I was very, very hesitant about buying one of these. And the thing is that I know Batman did one, but you can't get hold of them. Although there is one knocking about on eBay at the moment, I believe. And I tried getting a Hornby one, but I couldn't find one as well. But then I thought to myself, do I go and take the plunge and take a Hatton 66 after all the issues that's been going on with them? And after watching Peter Dixon's video the other day, and some of his other videos to do with the Hatton 66, especially the first part, he did another part yesterday of removing the body. And basically, it made me more confident about buying one. So I ordered this 66 and it arrived this morning. Now, I have to say, I've had no issues with it at all. The only thing that I have, and I'll tell you that in a minute, basically, it arrived, I put it, I took it out, checked the bodywork, had a good look at the bodywork. The bodywork was absolutely mint. Nothing was broken, nothing was rattling, nothing had fallen off. It was all complete, all in one piece. I sat it down on the table. The rocking was very, very slight. It's very minimal. In fact, it's no more than what I would have got with some of my other locos. So I stuck it on my rolling road, and I gave it an hour each way, and it was happily running both directions for an hour. And then came the dreaded bit of taking the body off, and I followed Peter's instructions to the letter, and they were absolutely spot on. And in fact, I was more luckier than Peter in terms of the body just literally popped off. There wasn't any additional glue or anything that's prevented the body from lifting off. It just literally, I mean, even when I put the cards on the sides to open out the body, you could feel that the body was quite loose. It wasn't, you could tell that it was free. So when I came to slowly lift it, it was fine. It just came off totally easily. I actually found it more difficult putting it back. I actually found it more difficult putting the body back. And the main problem is these little things here, which Peter says if you just prise open, just prise out of the holes, so it's not stuck in the chassis, then you can lift the body. And I did that with one, and one on the other side snapped straight away because the metal was brittle. So that's the only issue I've had, is the fact that one of them was brittle. And so it's just by pricing it out of the hole from the chassis, it just snapped straight off. I don't know where it's gone, but it's not a big deal because I could just paint a little straight line on the chassis and a white straight line on the chassis, and you wouldn't even notice, to be honest. But it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely perfect. It's running really, really well. I haven't, like I said, I haven't touched the bogies. I haven't done anything. I haven't removed the axle boxes or anything like that. It's just as it's arrived. The only thing that's had done to it is had a decoder put into it, and she's running sweet. And she has got a minor wobble, but like I said, I think it's nothing that you know, it's nothing major at all. Like I said, it's not like an obvious thing where it's running really wonky or derailing. It's not. So it's perfectly happy. It has derailed a couple of times over in the far corner, but I think I've got a known issue over there that I need to sort out. So it's got nothing to do with the 66. To be honest, it's just basically I just need to sort that corner out. I know there is a bit of an issue that some locos don't seem to be that happy going around there, and this is one of them. It doesn't derail every time. It's just from time to time, it's just going round and then it will just derail. But that's not because of that, because it's, like I said, she's running sweet. So I'm really, really, really totally impressed with this 66. Like I said, I was very skeptical about buying this, but this one is a real beauty. I love the colour scheme, I love the detail, and yeah, it's just absolutely gorgeous, and I love it. And I'm going to be running it with some engineers trains. I'm not going to be running it with tanks. It's just, I just ran it with the tanks because that was what's around and what's available at the moment. And it is absolutely beautiful, and I love it to bits, and I don't have any issues with this locomotive really at all. Like I said, I've had the minor thing that snapped off on the side. The other thing is that somebody might be able to help me with. I have the Gauge Master controller, and I bought a Hatton's chip for it, which is the one that they recommended. My apologies, I just kicked the tripod. And basically, I have an issue with the lights in terms of, because on function 2 on the controller is a momentary switch, it will momentarily switch the tail lights on. So they do work, but they won't stay on. And I don't know if it's a CV setting in the decoder or whether it's something else. But basically, my function 2 button on my Gauge Master is a momentary switch. So it says to use function 2 for the tail lights. I mean, I'm not that overly fussed, to be honest, because it only affects the other end where the hook is. At this end, it doesn't. So generally speaking, when it's got a load like it has now, the tail lights wouldn't be on in any case. But if anyone knows about it, then by all means, give me a shout and let me know. But like I said, I think it's, if anything, it's got to do with the decoder. There's probably a function on the decoder or something like that to be able to do it or change it or something. But anyway, I love this Class 60 and 66, I should say, and it goes very nicely with the 66. Sorry, with the 60 just here. So she's an absolute beaut. So once again, I'll send her on her merry way, and you can have a look at the tankers that's behind it, because that's the same tankers that you just seen. So off it goes. It's not sound fitted yet, by the way. And there goes the last one. So before we go, which has got a few minutes to go before we go, because there's still more to tell you about. So we're going to take a quick break before I give you one last bonus. So I'm going to talk to you now about the layout itself, rather than rolling stock, as we've pretty much covered all of it, bar one. So those of you following me on Facebook will know that I've added lights and added additional lighting to the layout. And one of the additional lighting I've done is to the crane. As you can see now, I've actually just painted in the crane so they blended in. The wiring has all been blended in. So basically you can't really distinguish the wiring from the crane, from the legs. So because I was using white speaker wire, so I've painted that all in. So now it blends in with the legs, so your eye isn't drawn to it. And I'm really pleased with that in terms of how it looks, because it just looks so much better now, because now it looks like it's blended in. I also, many of you will know that I've added some lighting, as you can see, all the various lampposts on the street scene. These are all new, all of these ones along the back, along the stations. They're all new, they're all working now, for those of you who don't know, as well as the original ones which I've done down at this end over there. So I've done a lot of wiring underneath the layout and underneath the board, and also what I've also done is, if I can show you, in fact, I will take you off the tripod briefly, and hopefully this won't shut down. So you can see all the lamp posts that I've done, and you can see a couple of more of John's relay boxes that he kindly sent over. I also bought one of the modern bus shelters. So there's two of them just there side by side. And like I said, I've added these lights here as well, all working. Now, I need to add some more lighting just here. I need to add a lamppost here to cover this area because it's a bit dark around here. I've also done some more road markings here. And as you can see, there's two holes here waiting to take some lampposts over here. And then I've got some more lampposts to put. And I've finished this scene here. So again, John gave me some more relay boxes and they're all there. The rest of them are there. By the substation, all neatly tucked away in the corner. I've used some bushes just to bed that all in. I've got a hole here because there's a lamppost going in here, and there will also be a lamppost going just behind the substation to bring some light into that corner there, and that will be all the lighting virtually done then. So just before we go, I've got a bonus for you. Well, it's actually a bonus for me, but I'll show you anyway. It's a bonus little clip which was totally unexpected. So yesterday I was a bit miffed because I was expecting my Cola 66 yesterday, not today, because I ordered it for next day delivery, but it didn't arrive, I guess because of the post. So anyway, I was a bit miffed at that, but anyway, by the by. So I was settling in for the evening and I got a message. And this message was from my local model shop, Paul, who texted me to give me some surprising news. And he said to me, Susanna, your pre-order has arrived. And so I was very excited because I knew exactly what it was. I ordered this over a year ago, I think. I think it's probably over a year ago that I ordered it with Paul from Hornby, and it arrived yesterday. It was supposed to have arrived, I think, in October, but it was slightly delayed. But considering the circumstances in the world, I guess that's totally acceptable and understandable in any case. So what is it? You ready for this? I'm very excited about this one as well. Yes, it's my GBRF Class 50049 Defiance. And when they said Hornby was going to do it, and me being a Class 50 buff that I am, I went, I've got to have it. Ideally, if I could have had the two, I would have done. And the thing is, I literally just, I bought the 66 not realising that the 50 was going to turn up. And it just so happened that it turned up at the same time I bought the 66. And so it wasn't exactly ideal timing, but nonetheless, it had to be done. Because Hornby have sold out, apparently. And he showed me, the first one he gave me, he showed it to me in the shop, and it had fallen to bits, basically. I think it got damaged in transit, and the buffer beam had broken off, and the steps had fallen off, and the body, I think, had come away loose or something like that. And he said to me, luckily, that he had actually told me before he checked it. He said to me, oh, you know, I do have one spare, because I said to him, have you sold out? And he said, no. He said, I've only got one left. I've only got one spare. And so this particular one is the spare. So lucky for me that I still had this one. And he checked this one. So we've checked it on the track. And he said to me, oh, it's just as well you didn't buy it, you know, from from the internet, because otherwise you would have had to have all the hassle trying to send it back, and you probably wouldn't have had it for Christmas. So it's like, yeah, exactly. So I'm really grateful, and it's absolutely beautiful, to be honest. And as I'm talking to you, I'm just unboxing it, just so you can, like I said, I haven't done anything with this at all. The only thing that disappoints me actually is that they haven't actually given you etched nameplates, which seems a bit odd, but she's a 50. Now, she hasn't got any sound or a chip in it yet or anything. However, I'm planning to, because I'm going to take the chip out of, because I've actually got two Defiances. I've got this Defiance in the GBRF, and I've also got the Rail Freight General Defiance in 5149, and that's the one that's got the really good DCC Coastal sound chip in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chip out of that and put it into this one, because this one I'm more likely to use because obviously it's more modern, and I've still got the other one, and I still plan on keeping it, but I might just swap it out. So for all you 50 lovers out there, here she is. And she's absolutely beautiful, absolutely top notch. I am so pleased. Oh, so pretty. The only thing I would say is I think that Hornby, where is that 66? Oh, it's over there, and I guess it's dirty as well. I think the Batman blue is better. This blue I think is too light, in my personal opinion. But she's absolutely beautiful. It's an exquisite locomotive, as all 50s are. And she, when she put it, when Paul put it on the track, it ran just like every other 50 that I've owned, and it's just literally so smooth. It really is. It's such a smooth runner. So I really can't wait to get the sound put into it and get it running on the layout, because she's absolutely beautiful. Like I said, so some people kind of think that they haven't seen a 50 on my layout for a little while, but this one here, the GBRF one and the Thunderer, are the two 50s that tend to run in mainline service. Although they do have Exeter, but I don't have Exeter, but I do have a BR Blue one which I kept, so to run as for rail tours. So this particular 50, they tend to run with together, and they tend to run as a pair with 50007. But like I said, I couldn't really afford both. So and to be honest with you, it's yeah, after buying the Cola 66, it's kind of a bit pushing the boat out even getting this one, but I had pre-ordered this one. And I don't know, the thing is, if you do want one, if it's something you are interested in, then I suspect you may have to phone around through various shops to see if anyone's got any spare, because I believe they've sold that at Hornby. So I'm assuming that all the other shops will probably have sold their pre-orders as well, and there might be the odd one or two knocking about, so you might get lucky, I don't know. But the thing is, Paul had said to me also that saying to me today that the Duchess of Atholl, which is the centenary pack, the centenary loco that came in this special commemorative box, people are now selling them on eBay for like extortionate money. And unfortunately, we live with these people, these kind of people, which is really unfortunate, because then there's genuine people who want these locomotives and may have missed out, and in the end having to pay through the roof just to get that locomotive. The APT by Rapido was the same, when the original price I think was about 300 or 330, something like that, and then they were going on eBay for about £700 and £800, and it's just crazy money. So, you know, it might be a case the same with this, that there might be people who have bought these just specifically to sell them on eBay at inflated prices. So just be careful. I mean, if you want one, the sooner you get one, the better, is my kind of view of it. But like I said, it's a wonderful locomotive, and I'm so pleased to have it in my fleet. And to be honest, I won't be spending any more money on the layout in terms of rolling stock now. I might get a couple of wagons here and there just to top off some of the wagons I have, but in terms of loco, I'm definitely taking a step back for a while because I've spent quite a bit of money. Like I said, this was a pre-order that was expected. I just wasn't sure when it was coming, and I've said this before, it's a bit hard sometimes when you kind of order stuff on the pre-order, that it would be really helpful if manufacturers could stick to their times. So if they turn around and say it's going to be in March, then it is going to arrive in March, because 9 times out of 10 these deliveries don't end up turning up in March. They end up turning up 2 or 3 months, maybe 4 months later, when circumstances may have changed, or it might turn up with some of the other stuff that you've pre-ordered, and then all of a sudden you've got a whole chunk of money that you need to pay out to get all this stuff that you want, and sometimes you might end up missing out because you just can't afford to buy it all, so you might have to. But I'm very lucky because Paul would have kept this for me anyway, and he would have said to me, look, we'll sort something out. So, if you've got that kind of trust with your local model shop, then that might work. Anyway, I'm going to end this video right now, right here, because we've been going on for some time, so I should imagine it's quite a long video. And like I said, I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm really happy with my Class 50. I'm very happy with my Cola 66. Like I said, I was very fearful of that, but in the end, there wasn't nothing to really worry about. At least so far, so good. So I should just make a point actually of the chip that's in it, so bear with me one moment. So this is the chip that's inside the Cola 66. And so it's a 6-function chip. And actually I just realised it has got some sort of functions on here. It does talk about the CVs and stuff and what you can change. So I might be able to have a look at that with the lighting. But take care and God bless and stay safe, and Merry Christmas to you all as well. So till the next time, it's bye from Mildenhall and Vollmer. Bye bye.